Good morning, wonderful students. We're now here in week 6. So to go to week 6, we go to our folder and we're going to have a look at what we're actually going to do today. You'll see a few more things here in the news and text box, but the main thing that I want to look at is this thing called links. This will actually give us the links to some of the objects that we will need later in this lesson. So it's important to know where this is. So I want you to open up CoSpaces and come in, and you'll actually see our lesson for today is on physics. And you'll actually see the task that we're actually going to be doing today in physics. So what we're going to do is we're going to put physics into our simulation so that objects react like they would in the real world. So we're going to first create our environment, and it's going to be a box. Now, if we have a look, we need to create the box from scratch. We need 3 sides, 1, 2, 3. It needs a bottom, and it needs a 4th side, which is going to look like a glass panel so we can see through it. We're then going to add some balls. Now the balls, as I said before, will come from our PLC nav page. And we can do that a little bit later, but let's set up our CoSpace. It could just be a blank space at this point in time, so it doesn't have to be fancy. This is all we're doing. So I'm waiting for it to load. Now I'm just going to navigate so I'm actually in front of my camera. I can see my camera, right? And it's pointing out towards this place here. So what I need to do is I need to have a look at my particular library first. So I need to click on building, and I can use a brick wall. That's fine. I can bring the brick wall in and drop that in. Now I just need to make sure my height there. I'm just going to change a little bit wider there. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click on that and click duplicate. And I'm just going to move it out here a little bit. I'm just now positioning because what I want to do is, again, as I said before, we need to create this box. So let's duplicate another piece here. Right mouse clicking on duplicate. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Now I need to maneuver that around. So what I need to do is I need to transition. This is the one we want, and turn it around like that. So I just clicked on this top left here, the rotation mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that I'm lining it up perfectly. That's pretty good. I could do a little bit better. Now I'm going to grab this one here and I'm going to click and drag that and making my box. You can see my box is now starting to come through. I need to also put my bottom in. So the bottom of my there, and I'm just going to rotate that. Ooh, too far, too far. Just bring that out a bit. It's a little bit difficult sometimes when we're manipulating this. Now, so I've got that there, but if I have a look at that, it's sitting in the air. So what I need to do is I need to drag that down. So here we go, clicking on this icon here and just grabbing this and just dropping that to the ground and moving that in. Let's have a look at our box. Does our box look good? It's still in the air a little bit, so I might just drop that down just a little bit more. And okay. Now, I'm going to duplicate this back one again one more time, and I'm just going to move it out here. Now, that is a box, but it's not we don't have the glass that we're looking for. So to make that look like glass is I right mouse click on that and I click on material. And what I can do is I can drop the opacity down to about 15%. And once I'm happy with that, it actually looks like it's not even there, but you can just pick up a little bit here. There it is. So I might make that just a little bit different. I might just make that a bit more opacity, and I might just change it into a different texture just so I can really truly see it. There we go. That looks like my glass. Beautiful. That's exactly how we want to do that. So when you're at that stage, okay, and I'm walking around the room, if you get to this stage, I want you to put your right thumb up in the air or your left thumb so I know that you've actually done the box, so you're ready to go for the next part. So this is where we're going to put our balls in so we can actually see them bounce. Now, where do we get the balls from? Well, back here in week 6, I've got these links. Now let's have a look at this netball. Now to open this up, if I just click on it, it's not going to work. You will get this blank screen. If you get the blank screen, just click on the X and come back here, but right mouse click on the link and click on Open in New Tab. And this will bring it up in a new tab over here called OneDrive. And I've allowed, you can't preview it, but you want to download that. So you download that file and it comes down to the bottom. And that's exactly where we want it to be. So we come back to CoSpaces and we're going to click on Upload. And we're going to go 3D Models and we're going to upload this particular image that we've just downloaded. So I'm just going to bring this up now. There it is. It was my netball. I click on Open. And hopefully it comes up. So, sorry, I've just deleted a few files. They weren't working. So we go back here. We've got these files called obj1, obj, and I may have, by the time the lesson starts, I may have another one. So you select one of those and download that. So clicking on that, just click on obj1, download that. Come back to CoSpaces and you will click on Upload and finding that particular one. So in my downloads, there it is there. I click on Open and it will come in as here. So once we've got it here, you can't actually see it, but I'm now going to be able to click and drag this in here. You can see the netball. So I'm just going to drag that in. Yep. And then I'm going to position all the way up the top of my cube. And that's where we want it. So we want to make sure that we also allow it to be codable. And this is where I could say, I might call this netball, right? Use CoBlocks. The other thing we want is when we click right mouse click on that, we also now want to enable physics. There it is, and we turn it on, right? So let's just leave everything as it is here at the moment and click there. And now we go into our code. So what we're going to do now is we want to make sure that our advanced CoBlocks are there. And when you click on that advanced, you then get physics. Now, we want to make sure that we want to set Um, Physics, ooh, where are we? Set. Now just remember with each one of our walls, we have to right mouse click on, clicking on physics and setting it to static. So we're going to have to do this for this wall, the front wall, the back wall, and the floor. So when we still run this and we press play, our ball bounces or falls down, but it still doesn't bounce. So there must be a problem with not so much our coding, but setting it up. So let's have a look at our ball first and set the physics. And we're going to set that to static as well. Let's press play and see if that works. No. Static means it's actually going to stay there, so it's not going to move. So let's take that back off and let's make our bounciness maybe 0.5. Right, let's have a look at this and see how we go. Right, so it's our bounciness that we have to make sure. Now, the reason why we set our walls to static is so that we don't want our walls bouncing away once the ball hits it. Okay, so we could play around with that physics of our ball, right? We can make that bouncier up to 0.1. And let's have a look at this. Oh, it's very bouncy, isn't it? So it bounces up to the same height. And what we can also now do is that just gets it bouncing up and down. But what we can do is we can make sure that it has precise collision. So now what we can do is if I go to upload and I bring in, say, this ball, which is huge, I have to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so we're going to make that a bit smaller. So we transform it like this. Okay, transform. Right, and let's make that a scale of 0.1. That makes it a bit smaller for us so we can fit it in. Here it is. Let's bring it into our game. Bounce it up there. Right, but one thing we have to do is we have to right mouse click, make sure that we want it in CoBlocks. Yes, and we want to turn physics on for it. And we want precise collision and set it bouncy to 0.66 or another number. Let's have a look at this now. Two balls bouncing, one bounce first. Oh, there's a precision. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so that's what I want you to get up to doing in today's first lesson is getting your box built and bringing in your two balls and setting your physics. Good luck, and I'd love to see what you get up to today.